It is 8:03. It is time for the panel. Do you guys want to start the panel?
Canceled, huh? We're leaving today.
That's fine. Bye. Okay, does anybody have any questions on fursuits? Or are we going to just freestyle this? Does anybody want to go into making fursuits for a living? I got a great piece of advice. I would advise you do not. I'm serious, especially if you've never done it before.
I think my favorite thing is just that, yeah, because I've met so many people that are like, they used to be fursuit makers, but now they're just only making them for themselves. It's just,
I mean, I make them and then I sell them as like freelance. I've opened up for commissions. I've gotten maybe, I think, art commissions, like for people that I don't know, randoms on the internet. And then they become my friends. So when they do the review, they're like, yeah, we're friends. And it's like, we weren't friends when we commissioned. Now it looks like I just give my friends fursuits, which I have done once, and I don't. And I still hear about like the one pop scene. They pop the seam on the mouth, and I hear about it a lot. I wish I never gave them the fursuit. So anybody have any questions?
How did you start with fursuit making?
I didn't want to pay someone, so I made it myself, but it was a mistake because I am now 12 bases deep, and I don't have the motivation to work on half of them.
me too.
It's a lot of work. This is a bucket base. This is, I think, the cheapest style to get into. It's a lot of cutting. It's a lot of handwork. If you have arthritis or beginning arthritis, or it runs in your family, maybe not this one. No, I'm serious.
I wanted to fold my mom's sweatsuit.
What?
I wanted to fold my mom's sweatsuit. Come on.
Not yet. You gotta wait. You gotta hold out just a little bit more. 20 more years, okay? So they like, do you like needles? You like needles? So you could do the steroid injection? Yeah, okay. I thought so. Yeah, so we don't have a lot of good stuff medically that can help you after a certain point of arthritis. So, like, fight it off by not doing it. Okay. Yeah, so I brought an Minky. I feel bad. This is like so terrible. This is Minky. It's great for paw pads. It's a real short pile. You can use it for noses. I use it for the inside of ears. And then I come in and I sew the fur and there's fur here into this. So it's like, this is supposed to be a turkey. It's more like a cat. So Minky is great because you don't have to shave it. The downside is when you cut it, it sheds a lot. I've taped this already, so it's not sheddy. I just can't stand that. So. You go to Joann's and get fur and it's real cheap, that's great, but like if you're gonna make a commission for somebody else, don't use that fur. It's not the best quality. You can get high quality at Joann's, but you'll never see it again. Yeah. It's like a once in a blue moon. It's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And I'm thinking, what am I gonna make with this color? Nothing.
How do you tell the difference between?
That is actually a lot harder to do.
Is it just like a more like stickier kind of feeling?
Sometimes it will feel like somebody ran it through a dryer for you.
Okay.
Like pre-melted already.
I think I know exactly what
But it's not, when you touch it, you're like, ew. I don't know if anybody has that. It's like coconut rope. And it's like, this isn't supposed to be rope, but it's disgusting.
Because like it's not as fine as it should be. It feels a lot thicker.
It's like fibrous. And it's like
And it feels like you're
Halloween
head
masks.
through
Halloween masks have a shitty fur on them. Excuse me my language, but they have low quality fur.
Oh, I never. Oh,
I never. Bad fur. Terrible fur quality. This is fleece. Fleece is also great because you don't have to shave it. It's not that great because it pills up. This is really pilled up. I don't know if you can see that though. Oh, there's like little balls on top of the fabric here on my egg.
Used to be more Mary's sheep ones.
What?
At least we were Mary's sheep ones.
I don't know. I think this is mostly plastic. Most of these fabrics are plastic. Or in fact, if you you are making a fursuit, don't have open fire nearby. Fur is highly flammable. FYI. So is nylon.
So when it comes to fleece,
It stretches though, it's great. It has
Okay.
more uses because it's stretchy.
so what about, because I know you said the minky that you use for paws, could you use fleece or?
You can use fleece, but the paws are a high friction area, and since this tills up much quicker than minky does, your paws are going to get pretty gross pretty quick. High friction areas would be the hands. Some people fur the bottom of the feet. I don't know why, they just do. That's a high friction area. It's dirty. Your butt is a high friction area. Your armpit is a high friction area. And the neck also is high friction and sweat. All the gross areas. And the fur in the high friction area will get heat damaged. And you can fix this by using that thing that you use, hair dryer. I always want to say heat gun. Different. Don't use heat gun on your fur. It will do the drying for you. You can use an airbrush, or not an airbrush, hair dryer to treat the fur and then brush it out. But like if you're doing that in your armpit, why? It's just gonna get heat damaged again. Like this is more for like fur that you get in the mail and you're trying to like fix it. I don't even do that. I just email the place and be like, hey, the fabric you gave me is bad. And they're like, oh, we'll send you another one. And then I donate that one to somebody else. It's free fur.
Is there a typical brush that you recommend using? Because I would thought
I use-
using like a pen spray.
Yeah, you can use that. People say don't use it because you'll pull all the fur out, but like,
If you don't let it get knotted, it's not in.
how does your fur get knotted? It's only like 2 inches long.
Well, like matted, like if you're wearing it and you're walking.
Oh yeah, if it's in your armpit, it's gonna get heat damage. So it doesn't matter. Why are you brushing into your armpit anyways? Nobody's gonna see that because your arm is gonna be damaged. You could probably run around like this.
Just start walking around the con first. Be like, what's up, guys?
Everybody's gonna be like, please put your arm
All the
down.
fur I've ever gotten has gotten knotted, like whenever I use it. Like anytime I just,
Are you using Lux Shag? Because if you shake Lux Shag just to shake it, will screw.
I think that might be it. I'm just using whatever fabric I can find at this point.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's whatever. It's like cheap. It's really expensive now. When I first got into it, I could get like a decent quality yard of fur for maybe $20. Now I have to spend $35 at least. And sometimes there's holes in it. It's like, what are you guys doing in the factory?
You gotta make sure your money's worth, you know?
You're like, I think one of the hooks or something that they use to like manufacture it catches, and they're just like, oh, nobody can do this. It's black.
So I guess another question, because I know we were talking about matted fur. How would you suggest going around to smooth out the matted fur? Like if you wanted to?
Use an hair dryer. I have a really hard time figuring out who it is. Use a hair dryer, and you treat it, try to like lowest curve, and bring it up to a little bit of heat. You want to be very careful, and then use a slicker brush, which is that thing you do your cat dog with, and you brush it out a bit. And you have to do it like several times, but it should make it less crimply or matted. If it's really badly heat matted, and if you inspect the fibers and if the fibers are like flat or melted together, just get new fur. Because once they're plastic, once they've melted together, that's about it. Like that one time I had a client send me a message like a week out for Megaplex. I need new arm sleeves for Megaplex because I put them in the dryer. And I was like, I'm not going to be able to make new arm sleeves in a week. I don't even have the fur. And he's like, well, I could pay you extra. It's like, you don't understand. They won't ship.
There it is.
It won't be here. I was like, why'd you put them in the dryer? You live in California. Everything's on fire. Just put it outside.
It's like nice. See, a little smoke, it's a 2-in-1. It adds a dryer, and it adds a sand. It's only 1 cent, but it adds a sand.
I mean, half the fursuit sprays smell the same, so.
The foam that you use, is that So is that?
It's
purchase
open
from
cell. Oh, I even brought this, look. It's the stuff that we put in chairs.
Oh, okay.
I got it. Literally bought it from Joann's.
Is it just like a hot glue adhesion?
Yeah, you just use hot glue, but that's a misnomer. You should be using a low temp hot glue with your open cell foam, because if you use something hot, it's just gonna go through the open cells. And then when you put something on it, it's gonna juice out the side and burn you, surprise, in here.
Oh, okay.
Or down here, or surprise, you're gonna be burned.
And do you use like a Dremel or a razor?
I used a pair of scissors. I do actually have an electric carving knife, but I use that mostly for digigrade just because it's so much bigger. Like, if I did that here, I'd probably cut out an eye a little bit too big. Give them like the Gaspo smile. Ask me how I got my scars. Yeah. And then I have, this is a 1/2 inch foam, and that's 1 inch. You can get 2 inch, and you can get 3 inch, and you can even get like 5 inch. I don't recommend getting 5 inch, just because even the electric carver won't be able to cut through that. You'll need to get like a machete or something. It doesn't cut that easy, so.
5 inch just sounds like a gymnast mat.
That's EVA foam, actually. That's closed cell foam. I don't have any of that.
Oh, okay.
Well, but mine
That's
up there, because mine is made differently.
Is yours a 3D printed head? Yeah, you don't need to do that. I just brought this one because this is the easiest to get into. If you have a 3D printer, you can go on Thingiverse and print off your own fursuit head, and it's pretty much all of this, and then you have to figure out how to fur it.
Or commission, make someone like yourself out there, they specialize in.
Yeah, I've worked on 3D printers.
Is it heavier though?
No, it's actually lighter. It depends on the print. If you
It's
print
heavy,
horns
but
on
that's
yours,
just the horns.
yeah, if you put horns on it, that size, it's gonna be heavier.
Yeah.
But 3D prints can actually put holes in it. So if you put the fabric over the holes, you actually can breathe better in them. The only problem with 3D prints and resin heads in Florida is that they're heat susceptible and they will work.
If left in cars, you keep them in relative.
I mean, if you keep them in the car for like 0.8 seconds.
I mean, like you keep them like air conditioned rooms or not.
I mean, yeah, but it's really iffy. Because I was able to warp a resin head or a 3D print head that I'm selling with a hair dryer. Got it. Hair dryer. Yeah, I don't know. My brain's never been able to pick out that word. So, 3D prints are great. We didn't get to that part. I don't have a 3D printer, but I have furred them. And they're great if you know what you're doing. So for a 3D printer, they don't usually have the back part here. So you gotta either put elastic in or run a harness, or you can try foam. I've seen people do foam. What do you got? Is it just
I
elastic?
self-made a harness that actually clips the parachute clips behind my head.
Okay, so it's like a twin blue Chimera harness.
That's it.
Yeah. I got those. I'll grab the phone over here.
How
I
would you
do-
prefer adhered to the skeleton?
Oh, well, if you put the harness in the back here, it holds the head to your
No, how do you put the fur on?
What?
How do you put the fur on the
Base.
skeleton?
Oh, you wrap it in tape to get the pattern first. You mark where you want your fur to be on this tape. So let's say if we wanted a nice big teardrop, we draw a teardrop here on the tape, and then we cut it out, and hopefully we have the wherewithal to mark it the right way, right and left. Dyslexic, who else is here dyslexic? Yeah. So this side, the outside would be the right, the inside would be the right. So this would be the left side on the outside. So that's always like a trick. Right, okay. You wrap the tape in, and then you take the tape off. I usually wrap it with plastic bags. You can use cling wrap. I've seen people use aluminum foil. I'm not sure how that works. It seems like a waste of foil. But it should work fine. Some people just don't even wrap it, and they just put tape on it, and then they place the tape directly onto the fur backing. And that seems to work pretty well for them. That's not not how I do it, but you can try it, whatever's easier for you. And then you sew it. And then if you weren't smart like me and just bought short pile fur, you'll start the evil of shaving fur. Which you gotta wear a mask. Absolutely wear a mask when you shave fur. Make sure you have a vacuum close by. If you can get like the modulated thing. My friend has taped a vacuum thing to their shaver. That works. I do mine outside on the porch. I really can't tell you how to shave. It really depends on the clippers that you get. I cannot recommend any high-name clippers because I have a pair and the motor burned out, so we got a new motor put in it, so now it looks like Franken clippers. And the clippers that I actually use the most are a tiny handheld clipper that's for like the face of an inside dog, and then I use these. A pair of thinning shears for tight spaces inside like a face here, where not necessarily can fit my Franken clipper thing in here. But I actually recommend just getting short pile fur for the face, because then you'll use it for the toes, and you'll probably use it if you do like belly details, and then you can just sell it when you're done, because people will buy it off of you. Though I do know a lot of people who want stuff for free. Yeah. So I got scissors. I love scissors. I got pens. Oh, look, here's my second pair of scissors because they always disappear. I use Wonder Clips because I don't really sew anything by machine. They're great, except when you step on them. Yeah, not fun, because I always end up breaking them. It's like I had 50 and now I have like...
Did they create like in paint like Legos or?
They break usually before they inflict massive amounts of damage that the Legos can do. I have 2 Sharpies. I mean, I was told not to use Sharpies to mark things, but the alternative was chalk. And if you don't get into doing the thing right away with the chalk, it will just slowly fade away. It'll dust out. So you can just slap the fur and
That may
chalk
be because of the
will fall
environment
off.
here, because they did it in Florida, so.
No, the chalk works. It's just I have a habit, like, who here can use crayons without having them break in their hand? You. Yeah, that's the same thing with chalk. I'm using it and then it just breaks into like a bajillion pieces in my hand. I have some needles. This is a great thing to have, especially if you sew the wrong side to the right, like the left side to the right side, and then you realize, oh no, the fur pile is going in 2 different directions. I never use this. I stab myself so much. This is a thimble. My sewing kit is literally a magnet in a box. So I have a curved needle, which is great for like a ladder stitch and the blanket stitch. And have a much bigger curved needle, which I'm not sure what I use for. It's a bit too big. And then I have 3 needles here, and I only use one. I use the one that's bent because I've bonded to it. If you have a sewing machine, you can sew this type of fabric and this type of fabric, and there's one other fabric that you can probably use in a sewing machine. But fur, depending if you have a walking foot or not, is like not a good idea to run through your machine. If you like it. If you don't like it, go ahead, just run anything through your machine.
I have a 100-year-old singer, and it's an industrial sewing machine.
If it's an industrial sewing machine, it can probably run for just fine. But some of us can't afford that.
Or have a grandma that has.
The one that I've been looking at, it costs about $2 to $3 grand, and I'm like, for a hobby, no. For a business, yes. So I'm just over here like making things out of fleece, being like, I'm making a fursuit out of fleece and running it through the machine. It's great. I think I'm winning the lottery.
I mean, there's some good artists out there. These ways, like
cause, and none of them sold either. So it's just like, I can't win. Maybe we should just bring cats and horses. Horses are scary. They run on their fingers like this. Is that a Disney song?
Yeah, we're not karaoke.
It's Frozen. Oh no, it's Moana, that's right.
Yeah.
It's the one where she actually goes
It's
out.
the same song. I think they have that song in the newest one too with the canto.
No, Andrew's waiting on a miracle. It's her singing about how her family sucks, but she wants to be part of it.
I mean, that's the goal, right? Like,
That is
I wish my mom would spend some time with me, but it's never for that. Anybody has any other questions besides like why Sharky's here? This one's
Do you have a golden rule of scissors of which scissors cut which fabric or what item?
I just cut fabric with the scissors.
Or like maybe paper, like
I mean, you could probably, these are actually medical scissors.
I thought that was familiar.
These are actually medical scissors, and I use them mostly for thread. And I'm gonna be honest with you, the really nice ones, my sister has a really nice pair that's only for fabric. If you cut anything else with that, you have to buy another pair of $100 scissors because you'll ruin the blades. This has a
yeah, as I say, it's so cool.
I can trust you to do.
yeah, it's the G, right? Yeah, I don't have it's true.
Because what I've heard is paper dulls a blade way quicker than fabric will.
Paper and
I'm not sure about that, and I'm not gonna like argue anything because I don't know enough about the scissor tanks to tell you what would dull a blade. But I can tell you right now, these plastic things here that you have to cut through to get to stuff, don't use your sewing scissors for that. Also tape. We're right next to the karaoke.
sounds so good.
No, think about it. Think about it from first.
Okay, do you have any like tips for like duct tape dummies?
Yeah. We get this guy.
How long did that base take?
This base?
Yeah, how long did that take?
It took me about a day to make, but I was fueled on spite because this is a client that owes me money.
Yeah, but your G floating probably.
What?
I find your G floating probably the other though.
It's a kloof suit space. So if you go online, you pay $7, and they will give you the shapes that you need to make this, and they'll kind of give you a tutorial on how to make it. And I always have a problem with the mouth area because I guess I put my face too low. I made it. I don't know. I put an extra bridge in back here because I was just like. It's also supposed to be a deer, but I think it looks like a cat, so I didn't put the nose. It looks like a bunny too. Anyways, I'm selling that. I will spell that at Saturday or Sunday Artist Alley to make what little money I can off the client that owes me money.
Just chuck it at someone, whoever tells you that owes you money.
Well, it's more. We were gonna do an event together, and I bought an airplane ticket for him essentially. And then like a week later, he's like, I can't afford it. It's like, you knew about this for a year. Why did you save up? But that's just me
You need to hear me over there.
too trusting and buying the airplane ticket for him, obviously. Whatever. So whatever this sells for, I'm gonna take that out of the plane ticket, and then he can pay off the rest. I don't know. I'm just trying to get it out. It's beautiful. I think it might fit someone. Not me.
No, I already have one part that I haven't finished yet. It's like,
Yes, it's a problem. See, you made your first suit, and now you're like, I'm gonna make another one, and then you get like half.
no, this one I actually commissioned. I have one sitting at home that I have bought all the fur, pretty much almost all the fur except for the wings. And then like,
Wings? That's a mistake.
yeah, he's based off the Dueling Dragon's Ice side.
That doesn't exist anymore. You can just make it up now.
There's about 5 different designs to reference off of, and like 5 different colorations. I'm like, why, Universal, why didn't you just pick one and stick with it?
Because they had thousands of dollars and not enough cents.
I'm mostly basing the coloration off the trains, and then mostly the shape off the plush.
Okay. And then,
Because I actually have a Duct Dragon plush.
okay, I gave away my shirt because it's not fit anymore. I'm gonna give it to Asterisk. Let's see, duct tape dummies, was that you?
Oh no, I was trying to, like, yeah, like take those, because I want to get a bodysuit for Kukane.
Don't make it yourself.
No, I'm going to commission somebody.
A duct tape dummy?
Oh, no, okay. No, I'm not trying something.
Okay, so you need at least 3 people because my friend brought, she's like, I have a client, it's a friend, who's been on my list for about 2 years now, and like I think last week or the week before, I want to make the duct tape dummy now, and it's like I'm in crunch mode, like this is like the worst time ever. So I'm like wrapping her in duct tape, and she brought 2 other people, but they're not helping, they're just playing video games on their phones, and it's just like, I wrapped her up in like a bodysuit, and I gave her lederhosen essentially because I was just being kind of malicious with it. Gave her lederhosen made out of tape. It was hideous. And it took about 3 hours because I was pretty much the only one doing it. Don't lock your legs.
Yes, I know that's
Don't lock your
legs.
legs. And if you don't know what locking your legs is,
Or no, locking your knees, particularly.
well, I mean, I don't know if you can actually lock your ankle.
Oh, when you pop your
No,
nose
because it's usually
backwards.
just the knees.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like a
more
one-hand
long.
thing.
Because that's where the blood vessels are.
Oh, actually, this client locked his legs during his first fursuit. That was interesting. I had to put him over on his bed and to like throw him down on his bed, like wrapped up in tape. And I was just like, "Do you feel better now?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Okay." I feel bad. I'm like,
I did buy like 10 overalls and I bought like 3 rolls of it.
actually, if you just get like the larger ones, M3 has, depending on how big you are, you don't need to do your head. Wow.
So,
Oh, we got
Is that an electric avenue?
Yes, it
That
is.
sounds like electric.
But like somebody's really off kilter.
She's shouting it.
This is why you got a little bit
similar, like.
Duct tape dummy is yeah for the head, but it's your body. You get a painter suit, and you don't need to worry about saving the zipper, unless your maker explicitly says so. Okay, like
Like
so.
those paper, like, paint suits?
The painter suits that are made out of plastic.
Oh,
So
okay.
don't use any fire around them because they're probably
Yeah, yeah.
Everything is plastic.
So,
Life is fantastic.
yeah.
So the tape sticks to the actual suit and then you just.
Yeah, and you try to do it to like body size,
Like a little
but like 2 fingers. So don't make them really tight, okay? Because then you're gonna get a really tight couch suit that you won't be able to bend down or do anything without popping a seam. Probably back here too. That's where the seams tend to pop. I've seen a knee seam pop. Oh no, maybe we should just yell "oh no" back. Okay, I have seen knee seams pop before, and that's usually for people who have a design on their knee. But like, if you do it too tight, the person inside is not going to be happy because their suit's going to come out like crap.
Yeah, if there's any cool equipment you want to wear underneath it.
What?
There's any cool equipment like an ice vest. Wear that while wearing the tape because so they count for the.
I can't.
Okay, so if you want to wear like an ice vest,
You put the ice vest on underneath your painter suit. If you have stuff underneath your suit that you need, that you want.
So the ice vest, is that just to keep
It's
it
okay. So it's a Easy Cool vest. I have one of the older ones, but it's like basically ice packs inside a little ski vest. You know, like athletic mesh inside a bathing suit. Men's usually only. I don't know why. And you put the ice packs in, and they're not actual ice packs. I think they're made with some sort of oil, so they have a different freezing point and a different melting point. I wear mine with the shrimp. But the shrimp is so fun because I don't have furry legs. I'm just wearing spandex on my legs. It's great. 3/4 suits are the way to go if you hate heat. It's okay. You don't need to have legs. Nobody cares about your furry legs. Like he's got furry shoes, but he's got pants on. He's got the best of both worlds. He can go to the bathroom easy. It's all that really
I have
matters.
actual shoes in here with inserts that way I can actually walk around like a mile.
That's what I want to know. How do you go to the bathroom with legs? How does that work?
Some people
Handler.
don't. They just
Yeah,
don't.
that would help.
They sweat it out. They sweat it out, so they have less retained fluid, so they don't have to pee as much. But I can tell you right now, I have dusted many bathroom floors with various towels.
You know, a head is maybe, but leg.
What?
I said a head is maybe, but leg would be fun. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because then once you take the fursuit off, you don't want to put it back on.
And it also like helps to design the zippers so that way you can get out of your suit.
Yes, secret pee zippers are great. I mean, I know there's a lot of people who think that's not savory, but if you're using it to pee, it's a lot better than dusting the bathroom floor with your shirt arms and
Better than
tails.
sweating it out too.
Well, people do sweat it out.
Well,
If it sweats out, it's not in your blood.
That's true.
Yeah, I know. I work there in medicine. Thank you.
Then
No
you
worries.
work before we're like in the bedroom, like after we get back home.
Well, some people put camelbacks in their suits. That's smart. Ish, if you
That's
like
like
warm
what fire
water.
pilots do. Fire pilots don't like it.
You just gotta remember to pace yourself with drinking it.
Yeah, you just don't put booze in there, okay? Just don't do that.
Or
Please
even
don't.
overhydration.
Just water, or maybe Gatorade, or you can half the Gatorade. I think that's actually more healthy if it's like
More water
3/4
into the
water
speedy
and
Gatorade, I
1/4
find that to be
Gatorade.
like good.
That's what the athletes get and stuff. You don't eat all that sugar. Gatorade's an acid, so if you have weak
Terrible.
teeth enamel, don't do Gatorade.
Just salt and water is pretty much.
It's like Pedialyte in the water, okay?
Pedialyte's good if you're sick, but not good for your teeth.
We used to joke that Gatorade was just synthesized or synthetic sweat with sugar.
Yeah, it is. It's delicious. My favorite is the lemon lime. And then,
Oh,
like, we
yeah.
have different names, like the orange is colon boiled orange, because that's what they want you to drink for the,
Or
You're trying to green apple one?
just not red.
Yeah, just not red, because we don't want the people to freak out. So anybody has any more fursuit related questions? Or
Yes. I'm sorry. I'm like jumping in, so someone else.
Nobody? I think a lot of people are just chilling because it's cold and it's not electrogravity.
Bye.
Have you worked with like installing electronics?
Yes, I have 2 suits that I'll be selling later, but I thought I was selling on Friday, but I'm not. But I do have 2 that have LEDs. I tend to buy the LEDs already made because my foray into doing electronics got too much stuff too quickly. And then I didn't have the ability to like focus to do it when I had so many other competing hobbies, if that makes any sense. I'm glad I just didn't get a soldering gun. I should have gotten a soldering gun first, but I had all this extra stuff. My first electronic thing was a fan. It was a Raspberry Pi fan, so it was like this big-ish. I shoved it in a Plague Doctor mask, and then I wired it to house wire that I bought at Home Depot that I stripped, and then I kind of like taped it to a thing that had batteries on it. And it worked great, but apparently when people saw it, they kind of freaked out. I think it was the house wire. They thought I was using something with much higher power. But then I finally got it soldered by someone, and then it didn't work. So it's like, I'm just taping the connections. I know that's a fire hazard, but I don't care because it's for personal use.
Use electrical tape, it's not terrible.
It was electrical tape. It wasn't too terrible.
Yeah.
I was thinking like
I think, yes.
moving wires and maybe cause.
Oh no, it wrapped, because it was a house wire, it actually had a shape, and I wrapped it around this part here, so there's not a lot
Oh,
of...
so it wasn't stranded copper, it was the solid copper core.
It was the stuff that they used to line the inside of the house. We went to Home Depot and I'm like, I found wire, I don't care if it's the right gauge, I found it. And then I got some cut off. Because you know, the Home Depot guys, some of them, they'll be like, oh, how can I help you? And then as soon as you ask a question, they're gone. Where'd they go? So, I found the wire, and I was gonna cut it myself. Somebody came by. Hey! That's okay, you can sit down. I'm just waiting because now I get to hear more of that. I'm loving it. I just don't know what they're singing. Any other questions?
So I've been thinking about commissioning someone, and like I've looked at the YouTube videos for the duct tape dummy stuff. I just don't know how the packaging works for that. Do you know how that works?
Well, when you commission someone, they'll tell you how to do the duct tape dummy. You want to do it to their specifics, first of all. But then, it will be fun because you get to take a box and then you get to shove your body part into it. I like break your legs onto your face.
That was awesome. Yeah.
I mean, I have one sitting on my porch right now in the chair, and my mom's like, "Can you move it?" And I'm like, "No, it smells bad."
It's Halloween decoration.
What?
It's Halloween decoration.
Maybe. Everybody, I mean, okay, so not to fat shame anyone, but when I took mine off, I was like, it's a blimp on stilts. That's what it looks like. That's what we are. We're just blimps on stilts. No, my friend is skinny, And she looks like a blue on skills. We should just move over there.
We should just move on stage and have the panel.
It's not even the stage, that's the karaoke place. The stage is over there.
So this one is actually commissioned somebody originally, and they never delivered on it.
Yeah, that's another problem. If we want to talk about how to commission fursuit makers, I'd say go to Fursuit Review and see if the fursuit maker that you want to commission has any reviews. And if they don't, that might either be because nobody that bought, like I've made 66 heads. I have like 3 reviews.
Is that just normal?
I make heads, I sell them, they disappear, I never see them again.
Yeah.
For most cases, it's fine. There's one that I made in 2017 that I don't ever want to see again. It was a mistake. I'll put it out there. I'm not sure what it is. I didn't
Was
alter
it
the
the
head there.
commissioner's fault that they did that? Or was it just a weird?
Well, my commissioners, I'm actually still pretty much talk to them and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I opened it up earlier saying, my commissioners all say we're friends now. So when they put in the review, it says, we're friends. So it looks like I only give fursuits to my friends, which is a mistake. I don't. I did it once. I regret it. I wish I'd never given it. Well, I don't regret it. Well, I wish I would stop hearing about it.
Some people only claim to be a creator's friend just so that they can only use it as like some sort of trophy or say, hey.
I've noticed in this fandom that people will brush shoulders with a poppy fur and then decide that they're friends with them, and I think that's kind of weird. But it's not. I'm not going to make any fuss about it. I just think it's kind of weird that you barely know someone and now you're best friends with them.
It's like
They talked to you once.
yeah, it's just I think if I'm not mistaken, it's usually just like a clout chasing thing,
Maybe.
That's probably.
I don't want any of that.
Dude, something scary though. Like, it's that poppy fur just goes like, yeah, but actually, do you have real friends? And I'm like, not really. Make another one. They're like, oh, yeah, you know what? Let me find like top 10 reasons why we should cancel. Hold on 1 second.
There's probably a lot of reasons to cancel me.
That's what
I can win by just logging off. Fine.
That's awesome.
That is amazing. Someone should sign him.
The thing is, when someone does, like, I've had one of these people in my very, very small community, and let me just say,
It's not the furry community.
I'm no popular for myself, but like, personally, my experience having someone claim that they're my friends after just talking to me, it makes me feel very awkward and.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, I don't know who you are, I don't even know
Exactly.
your name.
Yeah.
I don't even know your legal name.
So chances are, chances are I probably might make other, creators and other artists, feel the same
Yeah,
way.
it's not fair to the creators, because
Mhm.
we want to make friends too. I want to collab with people, and
Yeah.
half the time I collab, it feels like I am paying for everything, and then sometimes it gets made and sometimes it doesn't. But that's not going to happen. I've decided no more collabs, no more trades. I got shafted in the last trade. Last year, I made a trade. No, it was actually 2020 during the pandemic. I did a trade for someone, and she got to pick the colors. I work mostly with black. That's my favorite fur color. It's easy to match to other black furs. That's another problem with making fursuits. If you buy a dye lot, and you're like, oh, well, I can just buy amber later on, and you wait a year or two, that amber is going to be a different color from the amber you have on hand based on the dye lot. So that's why I work with black, because black is black is black, except I have some black that's more like gray. I'm not sure why, but it's whatever. I'll just use it as like a fading color. It's a gray muzzle now. It's kind of gray. It's old. You want to have an old fursuit?
No.
Why not?
I mean, maybe. Depends. Depends how used it is.
Oh, no, I mean like it's a gray muzzle, so it's an older character
Yeah,
or something.
that works.
Yeah, not like it's 20 years old.
Yeah, well, I was thinking maybe
it's
it
like
faded over
dust and
time.
everything. It's like setting the attic.
That's Ty's bodysuit. I have it as a throw on my bed because I don't have space.
No, my thing's because I actually have 2 different makers so far
Well, we have like 2, 3 breed. Oh
Two
no,
for sure.
Beta Raptor dropped off the planet. I hope she's well.
Because this and the tail were made by Squeakers Studios, and then these and the feet were made by Rage and War Customs.
I think I've heard of Rage Roar and Customs. But that's my other favorite thing. If you start making and you'd be like, yeah, I'm a maker, and they're gonna be like, oh, do you know this person? It's like, just because I make fursuits doesn't mean I know everybody else who makes fursuits. I'm sure this has happened, I think, in the military. So military first think you have like a universal experience, and that's not true.
Like, oh, you must know Lieutenant blah blah blah. No.
You must like being on boats and singing that
Anchors Away song.
no, in the Navy song.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're on the same base. Oh yeah, you should know.
You know this exact pebble that I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've been to that beach. Yeah, it's right by the wave.
That's
yeah,
right.
the waves in the ocean. Yeah, I've been to that beach too.
My question: is there your favorite maker you would ever commission?
I would go back and commission Blaster Burby, honestly. She's great. I just don't really like the style that she's doing right now, so I'm not.
I bought it.
It's working for her. It's great. I love it, but like I personally would not pay for that style. That's not the style I'm interested in. But I would commission her again if she opens up to other styles.
There's an adopt I bought of a sushi dragon, and this maker called Temperance, is comment crazy. He's like, oh, I really love that adopt. I'll give you a discount. I was like, oh, I looked up how much she costs for a full suit, $10K.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. She's really good. I mean, it's worth it.
I know, yeah. It's
And
like,
some of these
I'm
people-
on McDonald's budget.
Oh man, I love those franchises. One time they didn't give me a Happy Meal. I'm still upset about it.
Not my store.
For fur, like
Is fur? Are we going
well, I'm
to
just saying like fur in general, and it
That's
probably
luxury.
depends on the quality, like you were saying earlier. But
That's luxury, that I can tell from here. Just because you can smooth it out, looks nice. Shake it up some, looks pretty bad.
oh, but can you dye it, or does it like?
Yeah, you can dye fur. I don't recommend it because
It
you can
seems
just
like a-
get it pre-made in that color usually.
okay.
But also, if you're using your tub, you're going to stain your tub.
Oh, yeah.
It's not worth it. Especially if you live with your mom. She doesn't like that. My sister does cosplay. She dyed something in the tub. We're all banned from dyeing things.
He's got one of those big
Banned.
Rubbermaid things. That's what.
She did it once in Rubberman too, but then she didn't dump it into the grass. She dumped it on the cement, so the cement was dyed.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we're just banned. It's fine. I have no interest in doing
Do you
that. It's a
have any
lot of work.
experience with like seeing like how well it holds to the fur? Is there like a
Some depending on the fur, like if you get seal fur, it's really dense. You're gonna need to soak that. You're gonna need to agitate it.
Yeah.
It's not gonna bond right away. Airbrushing works on fur. That's sort of like dyeing it.
Yeah.
Some furs though. I made the mistake this year of trying to airbrush a certain fur that was too slick for the paint to adhere to. It
wasn't minky, was it?
No, it was some weird stuff that they sold to me that they said it was the stuff that I was asking for, but it wasn't. I'm still very upset about that. If you come by an artist alley, you can see it on the slug that I made for the realistic rumble, which I don't think I'll ever do that again, where you compete with other makers with realistic fursuits. And I think the ones that won were all wool, so it's like, what's the point? What's the point? I made a sea
Yeah,
slug.
the Japanese
It's a
tools come
sea
out.
slug.
Oh my.
I made a sea
I
slug
wanna see it now, that's
because I
cool.
couldn't make the eyes because you need a vacuum chamber to make the resin realistic eyes. It's like I couldn't make the eyes, so I made a sea slug because it doesn't have eyes in the eye sense. And then later they were like, oh, you can buy the resin acrylic eyes. And I was like, but like it's hard to put those on foam bases. Yeah, he's got the resin acrylic.
I got 3 of them.
Oh.
The follow me eyes.
How do you see through those also?
You
I don't
don't.
understand. Yeah, but how do you see through that in general?
Barely through the tear
Tear
ducts.
Tear ducts?
Tear duct vision.
Like I said, I have 3 eyes for port vision.
Yeah.
Yeah, those heads usually have the worst vision out of all the heads.
Like, this
I
was
was-
custom printed from Fuzzbutt, and I kind of made the mistake of
Asking for
widening,
semi-realistic.
widening this area too much. 'Cause
Yeah,
this
actually,
area.
my cheat is to put minky in around the eyes, and then I'm like black fur around the eyes, so you can't really tell that some of it is minky. So you got this short pile of. I usually glue it in first, and then I come in and don't come in 1/4 of an inch or so. So you can typically see, but the ones I have this year are skeleton, scaly, so it doesn't matter. None of them have fur faces, because I don't like shaving.
You, are the two fur sprays you usually use Howl and Big Z?
I have had a mixed results with Howl, or not Howl, Big Z. Howl takes forever to ship though. Like if you're going to buy the fur, buy it as soon as you know what colors you need, and they have it. Otherwise, you're going to be waiting.
I mean, I got good response in time from Big Z. 'Cause I
problem is-
ordered white, grape, and turquoise.
I bought a white from Big Z. It was a special eco shag. It was, everybody was raving about it. I got it, and you could see the backing from it. And what I was going to use was I was going to use it for like a mohawk. So it worked fine for the mohawk, but when I went to go use it as an actual fur on the back of the head, I could see the backing with it just laying flat. So I was like, I just gave it to the person that I gave the fursuit head to, because I'm not going to use it. I can't shave it. It's too loosely backed. I didn't like it. And when I talked to them about it, they were kind of like, that's how it's supposed to be. And it was like, okay, noted, not doing this again. But I typically buy from fabric.com because I know what I'm getting. It's terrible fur. I know I'm getting terrible fur. I know exactly what quality I'm getting. And they usually follow up, you know, if I say, hey, you forgot one of my swatches. Because they give Minky out. This is great. If you're using Minky and you only need a little bit of it, go to fabric.com because they will send you a 3" by 3" square of Minky. And I can use about 2 swatches for a pair of paws. So, and claws. So, like, and it's only $3. It's cheap. For most people who are making their own fursuit, you buy Minky, you're gonna get a yard of it. And then that yard's gonna sit with you. And it's gonna be like the telltale heart sitting in your corner, being like, fabric. Welcome to becoming a maker. You're gonna have all of this in your house. You guys like fabric? Who likes going to Joann's and buying fabric that they'll never use? Yeah, we've already got some people. We're addicted to it. It's highly flammable too. You just put it on fire. It's so
knows how
fun.
much fabric I have. I have vintage fabric.
My mom has bonded to some fabric from her childhood. It's some of the ugliest fabric I have ever seen. I'm like, what are you gonna use this for? And she's like, it was curtains. And that's a running joke. My mom makes curtains. So I'm like, well, don't make them for me. Don't want them. They won't match my room anyways. But yeah, so if you go into making a fursuit for yourself, you can do whatever you want. Don't let anybody tell you not to do it. Like, besides the safety things, you're definitely gonna want mask for cutting fur. If you do any Dremel work, you're gonna want a mask because that's dust, and you don't want that in your lungs because once they're in your lungs, it doesn't come out.
Just the resin.
Resin dust. Even with the foam, because my sister does a lot of cosplay work, and you can use a Dremel on EVA foam to do carving and stuff. Maybe you want armor for your fursuit. Oh, I want armor for my fursuit. I just don't have the space. Also, the idea of doing Dremel work on EVA foam is like low down there next to sanding and shaving.
Wouldn't that like melt the foam though? Like the heat from the Dremel would melt the foam, right?
It depends what level that you have the Dremel set at.
Okay.
Mine has one on, off.
Mine goes up to
full
10,
speed.
but I've never actually done 10 before.
I have one that goes up to 30 at my house.
It was like an amp that goes to 11.
Huh?
Okay, it was when it like goes to 30 rotations per minute, or like, I don't even know what that setting is once it gets past the
It sounds like a jet engine.
No, that was from Spinal Tap movie, where
Yeah,
it
but
goes
like,
to
I
11.
forgot his guitar, never mind, not related.
No. So that's the other side of my family.
Yeah.
All day.
I have a little dinky handheld that I carve with, and it's just.
I have a dinky handheld one, I just haven't opened it because I do not like working with them. Like, I've done things where you like carve designs into like the resin so it looks like it's got cracks or fire and stuff. And I didn't really enjoy it. I enjoyed it when it was done, but like doing it was not fun. I do have a cement grinder. I don't know, it's really big and you have to hold too. I use that to cut through bases. It's great. It's like, done. Chop right off the cat's face. I'm not doing a cat. Buy a horse. Just destroy them. But no, I use them for the jaws, usually on bird masks, because they have a nice straight line and I can just be like,
resins, you said something about the pressure, like you have to get like a special pressurized thing.
That's with acrylic eye blades. If you get a resin head, what?
That's to keep the bubbles from forming.
Yeah, it's to keep the see in the eye there.
Yeah,
see his
so,
eyes?
yeah.
You don't want bubbles in that.
Right,
because
right.
It messes up. And it's using physics to do the follow me effect by the curvature and stuff. And you can't see out of them. I know most people are like, how do you see out of those? You don't.
It's essentially a degassing chamber. This little bubble.
It's pretty toxic, that stuff.
Is it like explosively like harmful or like? 'Cause
It
I was
smells-
Yeah, off gases a lot.
I was thinking about like
Probably smells really bad.
an Instapot, like with that. I mean, you could put, you know how you could put like a little
pressure cooker.
canister
Pressure cooker.
inside the.
You can put a lot of things in a pressure cooker.
But like, I feel like that would work, but I don't know if anyone's ever done it.
I don't think
Would be
that's the
bad.
same physics.
No, it's not
No,
the same
It's
physics at
not
all.
the same physics. A vacuum chamber would suck stuff out. An Instapot, I think, is a
Heats
cooker.
up and pushes the air.
I think it's like an autoclave. You don't want to do that.
I mean, you could probably use a frame from it and put a pump in it, but
I knew someone that I'm no longer friends with who was going to make their own vacuum
Yeah.
thing, but he had over 100 projects. So I'm sure that was just one of the projects he thought about he was going to do and then never
yeah, I've
actually
seen people make them before. It's not that bad.
No, that's actually really common. You'll find people who have like 100 projects and never actually do anything and just get more, and then you'll find people who are like, don't give me any more projects, I have too many, and they have like 12. And I'm like in the other thing, even though I have like...
That's more of an issue of pacing themselves. Like,
No, it's motivation to do something. That's what it is. And if you're
It
not
pisses you to get
motivated to
burned
make
out.
something for yourself, then you probably shouldn't make a fursuit. It's just a lot of time and money. And if you're not motivated to do something, why sink the money in it? And then you'll feel bad. Like, I bought all of this, and I actually finished a base for someone. I was like, no, just let me do it. I'll finish it for you. And they were like, here's the fur. And I was like, looking at the fur, and it was like, ew. Like, no, I'll use my own fur. Like, I don't want to shave that. I think it would destroy my clippers. Does anybody have questions? We had new people come in.
Can we go over the entire presentation again?
No, because I don't remember what I did.
Well, crap. It's fine. I already have the best fursuit in the room anyway.
You do. You have the pinata. I knew there was some guy who came in last year who had a pinata fursuit that was made out of fleece.
Well, the lies stole my character.
In Megaplex.
What?
There's two in Megaplex now.
I mean, I had never thought about it. But he was doing them individual. It's like, hey, why don't you just cut long strips and then cut them like that? And he's like, he hadn't thought of that. He was just all upset, like, thanks. And I was like, sorry.
Do you have anything for people who are more I prefer like more realistic or like sleeker designs. Like I'm not into like more poofy ones like that guy.
He's
Actually,
got a
no,
realistic.
that's actually really good.
I make realistic.
Sorry, no, I only saw the back.
I just brought this because this is technically the gateway drug.
I'm into gateway drugs.
The gateway suit, I
You
guess.
tell them apart.
Vape? No.
I don't know about.
I don't know which is more gateway, that or the rocker mask.
The what mask?
The rocker mask.
I think it's the Raptor mask. It has.
The rocker part.
Oh, those don't actually fit. If you've ever tried putting them on your adult face, they don't actually fit adults. So when people say, "Oh, it fits," I'm like, why are you hurting your face?
He had one. I tried to put it on, and it doesn't even work.
So you wouldn't
Like, open your
recommend
mouth
using
and
that as
nothing
base
happens.
even for like
No,
designers?
that's a terrible idea if you have a big head.
Okay, because I was getting advice from someone. I was like, that seems a little
Childish.
not childish, but it
Small.
It didn't seem right. So
Well, if you see some of them, then they fur it, and it's like, man, that's got to be like 3 to 4 inches of fur or foam to get that base off of that. That seems like you could have just made one of these.
Yeah, that's another alternative.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, you've already foamed it. I know you want the moving jaw, but sometimes just having an open jaw is better.
Yeah.
So you can
could
breathe.
probably find a way to make it move. I mean, it wouldn't be that
Yeah, you
hard.
can. It's a lot more complicated than it needs to be. If I'm doing a foam head that has a
Yeah.
moving jaw, I have a hat back here
Yeah.
that I strap the elastic to, like what is it, the temporalis muscle? I think so.
Doesn't Beast Cup do that same way almost?
Yeah, Beast Cup does the same way, I think. But do you want to spend $1 million?
Granted, her quad suits though.
Her quad suits are really nice. I gotta admit, Beast Cup has some of the most interesting fursuits I have ever seen from a professional maker. I have seen a lot more interesting fursuits from children because one kid I saw made their entire thing out of carpet swatches. And it was like, I never thought, oh, I could use carpet to make my fursuit. I'd never thought of that.
I mean, if you want to advertise carpet,
and the
that's
fact
not a
that
bad
they
way.
were like 12 or something, they were gonna grow out of it. But it was like I had never thought like this is probably all that they had at their hands to make the fursuit. So like good on them. But like that looks itchy. I mean, like I just knowing that the chocolate fabric has like fiberglass in it sometimes. I'm not sure I'd put that near my face. Okay. You have any other questions? You're the only one here that has questions.
So do you have any like recommendations for shaving? I know you hate it, but what's the best way to approach it?
She has the best advice. Oh, no. You got a better clipper than I do. I have Franken clipper.
I have I think it's the Andis.
I have an Andis and the motor broke out, so I got a new motor put in. You've seen it. It's like this huge thing on the back end of it.
Did you order with the right model number?
It's purple. What?
Did you want me to go over there?
If you want to come up here.
Okay.
Make the cameraman like not jump around. Film like 20 times. I like your tail. Is that a bee?
Thank you.
Do you like my tail?
I love your tail.
Make my tail.
I feel like I see this like every other week.
This tail?
Yeah.
Hi, I see you again. Welcome back.
Oh my gosh, it's like you were just here, like,
Oh my
2
God.
weeks ago?
Yeah, I finally finished that tail. Oh my god. I sewed it through the machine, and it came. One side came out a little bit longer than the other side, which didn't make sense because they were the same fabric that I had cut out. I cut them out and pinned them like together. And I sewed them in the machine, and one tail was like this. And it's like,
One stretch longer?
No, it was just the way I pushed it through the machine. One tail it was longer, and it was just like whatever. And I clipped it off and just finished it.
Just keep going from there.
Fine. It doesn't need to be that long. You guys have any more questions?
Yes. So like, let's say you were too poor for a 3D printer.
Me? I have no space though.
Yeah.
Where would I put it? Under my bed? No, that's where the cat lives.
What do you recommend as like, so let's say I want to make like a skull head.
Oh, don't use foam.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you can use foam. You can use foam, and then you're gonna want to get like minky or something to put over. And if you go, what color skull?
I guess just like bone.
What
Okay,
about
so
that?
you want
Oh.
white minky to cover over because then you can pull fleece.
Did you suggest?
What about the foam clay?
You're referring to the.
No, because I would have to require.
Yeah, I think you had like a
big
combination
piece
of
of
like black, white, and red.
You could do mochi minky if you want to pay, but she's.
What about that foam clay stuff?
What?
The foam clay.
Different colors.
That's gonna be heavy, and then you have to seal it.
Um,
You have to seal it 3 or 4 times.
what's minky?
I got mine. Come up here and stroke the inside of the ear.
It's like a
Oh, I thought it was
soft,
fun.
short, think of like a like very short fur, but also not a fur.
Check out the backside
It's
too.
basically all of it.
So it's
And there's minky, which is that style, and there's mochi minky, which is like
has
the
a
stretchy.
stretch.
Is it kind of like a shorter velour? Like, I don't know if, I'm gonna be dating myself really, but back in the 90s, they used to have the shirts that were made out of like
The velvety.
the velvety kind of look.
That's so
like,
hot.
Kind of, but
Sounds
not
itchy.
really.
Sounds really itchy.
It wasn't actually, it was, I used to call
I
it
don't
heavy
know.
shirt.
I would have to go and actually touch the fabric to compare. That's somebody asked me about quality of fur, and I think that was you. It's something that comes with experience. Okay, like Lux Shag is typically the entry level fur, the gateway drug, as I call it. It's great for shaving. Look at his toes. His toes have been shaved. They look pretty good. His legs are also fur, but it also has that kind of matty look to it that's just inherent in that fur. It's not that he's not clean those. It's more that that fur is just, that's how it works.
Yeah, I mean,
You
it's
brush
like
it, it
and then
looks
2 seconds later,
nice. You brush it, and like 5 seconds later, it's
What kind was it again?
Luxury shag.
Lug Shag.
Love.
That or
Wasn't
LUX.
Wasn't there first fabric like maker that discontinued all that stuff? Like not-
Yeah, but
Man, I think it was.
that's fabric.com. They were discontinuing some stuff, but they still have black, and I'm still buying from them. So that's how I work.
It was like a main supplier, I think, too.
Shannon Fabrics.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shannon.
But they still make Minky.
Yeah, and I know the Hell Fabrics does theirs.
And you can
so
still
does-
buy from China, and it's always a mystery.
Yeah.
What did you get? The slug fabric.
The
I
pretty.
think Etsy sells for it too as well.
Yeah, but Etsy is typically those people that you just listed under different names. Like you can buy Shannon and Fabric.com off of Amazon too. And Etsy, you have to be careful because you will be buying it from China if you don't check where it's shipping from.
Now,
Or
for mine, I
California.
used mostly for like the silicone parts and the resin parts was DVC.
Yeah, DVC's got a great website. In fact, if you join their Discord, you can get ahead of like when they release some stuff. Sometimes they do like sales and stuff. They always notify, hey, we just put these in the store before we announce you guys
Or
can
there's
get
some
to
stuff
it.
that's ready to ship.
However, right now I think it's currently a 4 to 7 week wait.
No, actually, they're in July already.
Okay, because I know that my order just yesterday shipped out.
They shipped me some claws because I got them. It's like, these are colors that I might use. Yeah, let's do it. Red claws. For the demon dog.
Selling stuff ready to ship.
Yeah, I try not to look at the bases because I'm always like, oh yeah, I've worked on this base before. Buys it.
Fuzzbud has a dragon skull base. I was like, oh.
So does Icy Dragons on Etsy. It looks so amazing. It looks like a dragon skull. It's really bony and thorny and it's got teeth. I just don't really care for Fuzzbud's style.
I liked it.
They really
They started down here in Florida and they moved down.
Did they move?
They moved like up north and then moved over to Pennsylvania.
That's fine. I've seen some of their bases before with like the exposed nose, and having worked with some 3D printing with the exposed noses, I don't know if I would personally buy their base because I don't want to pour 3 to 4 layers of that resin goop on the nose to make it somewhat usable. I know someone who sculpts over their nose.
They do have like the no nose ones, so you can put like a silicone one in there.
Yeah, I actually like the nose being attached to the base, so there's less chance of the nose falling off.
Or being
because
pushed
that's a
in.
big thing. Like, you lose your nose in con, you're never
Boop.
getting
Oh.
that back.
Oh.
That's like popping a claw. What time is it? Is it to 9:30?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have to go straight to egg.
Over easy.
No. That's a mistake. One time I wanted to put like a bunch of squeakers in her tail, thinking, yeah, this would be great, just stuff it with squeakers, be done. Because squeakers are actually cheaper than polykill. But then I was like, if I sell this to someone, it will come back to me. It will. It'd be a mistake. And I hate actually hearing squeaker noises, so.
It's like the wolf virus floor dragger tail. And
You put a squeaker in it?
every single spike on that 8-foot tail has a squeaker in it.
That was a mistake. Why'd you do that?
That way when people step on it, she knows it's
You're gonna know when you have a floor dragger and someone steps on it because it's gonna pull your.
I know, I want
That
a
or
long
someone
one
trips,
for...
one of the two.
Yeah, because
I think those are the worst idea because people always get upset that you stepped on their tail. And it's like, sir, your tail is on the floor. I can't see. I'm in a fursuit.
I'm trying to save her for Raging War so I can get the bodysuit from them and like a 6-foot long tail for the Eastern Road.
Yeah, get somebody else to make that. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a great idea. If you have money, get somebody else to do it. It's like plumbing. I'm not gonna do that myself.
I do most of it. The only thing I don't touch is electrical and plumbing so that way I don't burn down my house or flood it.
So I someone asked earlier, but I forget what the response was. Like I'm more into like the more angular characters as I was like.
Yeah, you're more
kind
into
of mentioning.
realistic resin-based heads.
Is that what you would recommend other than foam? Or like we
Yeah,
start-
but if you're poor, going into resin is another expense. I did
Yeah.
it. It was a mistake to do in Florida. The humidity is like a huge issue with curing resin.
And heat isn't.
It's the humidity. It won't cure. It's too high in humidity.
It's the moisture, it's the water.
So I had to wait till humidity was under 60, which doesn't happen in
Not
Florida.
here. Until like...
You have to like go to the Reynolds place down off of Orange and use their facility where they have like a vacuum chamber. And I just don't have the time to do that.
So resin is best.
But also expensive.
It's best to buy a pre-made
Expensive.
base off somebody else, honestly.
For sleep. How do you spell sleep?
My 3D printing is not bad.
I mean, if you got a bird and you want that clicky beak, that's resin. Or 3D print.
Or even hooves. I'm like,
Well, you can do hooves with like tap shoes and stuff too. I've seen people do that. I'm glad that I'm not friends with any of them that do that because I think that's annoying.
at least with like 3D printed, since it's done in the
I'm
computer
still, like,
numerically.
accessibility.
So when you go to do the pattern, you don't have to tape up half of it.
Yes, that's great to do, but if you're not good at it, and this is your first time doing it, just take the whole thing. Okay? Just do the whole thing. Just do the whole thing if this is your first time, okay? Because I do it halfway, but I'm dyslexic, so it's also a half of a mess. Also, yeah, the mid-sagittal line is great, unless you have an asymmetric design, and then it's just tape it.
I prefer symmetry.
Just tape it, okay? Like, that's one of my biggest fears is someone gonna be like, the suit that you made me isn't symmetric. And it's like, even with a 3D printed base, it may not be symmetric just because of the heat involved in everyday life. But like, yeah, the 3D printer made it symmetric. Yes, the base is symmetric, but I'm just a human and I can't do things symmetrically. So you're gonna get what you get. Also, you know, I actually saw a very famous fursuit head, like not a head, but made by a famous maker or a big maker. And let me tell you, I was surprised that the inside was just filled with exposed foam. Like, they just shoved foam in there. I was just like, oh, so lining it isn't really like a must-have. You don't have to line it. You could just totally just throw a wedge of foam like right here and be like, we're done. I'm gonna sell this for like $2,000.
Balaclava was what helped with the sweat at that point.
Yeah, the balaclava is very important. He's wearing, it's a head sock.
Oh no, my wedge.
Is someone singing, what is that? I want you right
Brother
on the
for you.
bicycle?
Flash Gordon, I think.
Yeah, Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
That's a good movie. I like that movie.
Yeah. I think the whole soundtrack was done by Queen.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I'm not
so-
sure if the costume department was done by Queen, but it sort of looks so.
Yeah.
With all the men with like no shirts.
Yeah, they are. I think they're all in harnesses. I think. But at
And
least-
obviously Flash Gordon is like for
You ever tips for like doing like waves and stuff, like wefting?
Kenkleon and stuff.
Yeah, like the Wookiees.
I've used NFT tech stuff before, and I don't like it because it feels like real hair, and I just don't like touching other people's hair. So it's always like me doing, or you know, like fighting that. I don't know. There's
the
She's
uncanny
done
valley
wigs
kind
though,
of feel.
right?
Yeah, I've done wigs and I've also done dreadlocks for suits, things of that nature. One of the simpler ways it would be like if you're looking for actual realistic hair, doing either like the long gorilla shag or doing Kangalon hair. And it's called crochet braiding. You're taking a specific hairstyle crochet hook, slipping it between like whatever netting you're using for the hairpiece. You're taking that hair, putting it on, and you're literally just creating a small knot all over. Those small
Do you
knots.
need that
tying it to the.
You're pretty much tying.
Do you need that tool?
Yes.
I would say it's the safest, especially for like doing it on human hair and doing it on fursuit hair. It's pretty much the
Because I know that tool back in middle school because we were doing like art projects with that and like mesh and like yarn pieces and
It's-
make hard. I don't know.
I think
Wait,
I
so-
have one in my room with me actually.
Yeah, you
but
put it
it's
in.
like a metal piece.
you
It's got a hook,
you
little
pull it
lock
out.
on
It's
it.
like
Yeah.
Is it just a hairnet base and then you crochet off with a?
You can use cheesecloth. You can use whatever kind of like I would say like a
Mesh fabric
Yeah,
almost.
something. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't even. Wow,
And
I've
then
never
between
even
those
thought of
hooks-
that, and it's like building in my head right now. That's so cool.
Between the squaring on it, you can do I've done for you pretty much. I would say every 2 or so squares on whatever kind of cloth you're doing. You pull the hair through and you do your knot. For like if you're doing basic chunky hair, I use like chunky yarn typically.
Yeah, you can use that.
I do knots at the base of it, and I slip it through holes on the head, the top of the head. That's what I did for the cat at FWA. I pulled
That
all
was
of
a cat?
It was the base was by a different maker.
This
but-
is supposed to be a deer base, but I see a cat, I see a bunny. My problem
Is it supposed to be short muzzled?
It's always a dragon.
It's a dragon. It's a dragon.
I thought it was a dragon too. 'Cause
So my problem with Toonie style is I really can't tell unless there's like a real specific nose, like if it's got the nose on it, and I can be like, oh, that's a dog nose, so it's a dog. or hyenas. Like that's how I tell usually, or the ears. But like for toonies, I don't even know what it is anymore. I'm just really hoping like
maybe extend it a little more, narrow it, maybe.
It's supposed to be a deer base, but like I don't see
deer.
it.
I'm thinking like white-tailed deer. I'm thinking like
I don't know what type of deer. It could be any deer at this point. It's
Sure,
deer. But yeah, like
Everyone has their version.
I don't. That's just how toonies are. Hi.
I see an axolotl.
An axolotl, yeah. So you're looking for a more are you interested in the whole seeing through the tear ducts with the realistic looking eyes and the realistic look? Or are you looking for like an angular style, like you could do, like, have you seen blaster boobies, circles?
I would
Because those
probably
are very
be more
much-
angular, and I do have a little bit of an advantage with specifically the species of volley. They naturally have really big eyes, so.
You could
Oh,
probably go
okay,
like-
okay, I know, okay.
Yeah, you could do a kimono suit.
Yeah.
What'd you call it?
Kimono. So it'd be
Kimono style.
Yeah.
So it's like a toonie, but it was pleating too much, and the eyes got really big, and then they got stuck that way.
Well, it's not that they're toony, it's just that they have large eyes canonically.
I have a kimono fursuit that will be here in a second. I can show you the example of the eyes of that.
It's just
super
more
big
like,
eyes.
Think more like kawaii Japanese characters, like fursuits like that. They have much bigger eyes. Again, it's also with the whole like I think it's a dog, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, they're short.
If you're not familiar with volley, they're like 4-eared. They're closer. What's it called? Like the Dilophosaurus. What's the red raptors? Not velociraptors. Those ones are way too big. They're definitely raptor type.
I've seen them before, and they do not look like raptors to me. They look like someone's little kawaii character that someone put feathers on, which is cute.
To be fair,
It's not a raptor.
their original form was like from Spore, and that one was definitely way more raptor-like.
It's been that
been
looks like the letter A, and I was just like, huh.
They've become a lot more stylized when they became popular in Starbound.
Okay, that's cool.
So not like the bird person from Neverending Story 2, or am I just, has
No.
anyone ever seen that?
These are sci-fi space.
That dragon scared me as a kid. His nose was too big.
Oh, okay.
I would
say
what?
Volley?
Yeah, because they would like zoom in and his nose would be there. Like his nose.
Almost like this one?
No, they keep writing it.
So
with
resin,
signs
3D print, or
on it.
Kemono
I had like
style.
some sort of
You can do that in resin
sucked
or
up
3D
there.
printed for Kemono. It's just those are two different types that you would have
Okay.
printed in.
This is like her
But
first
I
commission,
prefer
like
Volley
she's done.
one of, like, the closest
Because
to-
they're
Sorry,
very
this-
angular.
this got really cheap.
Slender species, so.
What?
Like I paid for the head, the tail, and like hands to people, not these ones, for like $650.
I mean, I'm selling partials for $600, and I'm pretty sure they won't sell at Megaplex just because Megaplex seems to be a really low budget con in the
I
artist
mean,
alley.
people bought lemon bread like crazy. Like,
Well, because
That's
they're
not-
buying
yeah.
a name usually, and half of the suits that I look at lemon brat, I don't know what they are. I'm like, they're like, it's a shark, and it's like, but sharks don't have ears.
they're fin ears. No.
I'm like, most sharks don't have fins up there.
They made like a Jared Ball once. Like I know the guy who owns it.
They've evolved, adapted.
I've made 2 shark heads, and I've always had trouble selling them. So there's not a lot of demand for a realistic looking shark head. I think Christoons is selling a great white, and that still hasn't sold.
I
And
think-
it looks fantastic.
I think maybe someone did like a hammerhead one.
I did a hammerhead. I did a hammerhead before Lemon Brat did. But guess who got more
With that one, it seems like it would be so bulky. Like,
Oh no,
weight.
it was made out of foam. The hammerhead I did was made out of foam, and then the vision port was actually on top of the bar where the eyes were, so you could see you had a full vision essentially. And the person, I commissioned someone to make a head for me. I commissioned a bonnet head shark. And you know your sharks, you know that is not a hammerhead shark at whatever. But they made one perfect for bonnet heads, and I was so excited. They're like, I don't like this. And so they made me a hammerhead base, and they shipped it off to me, and I was like, I want the bonnet head shark because I wanted to make grass, because bonnet heads eat seagrass when they're babies. And I just thought that'd be a cool tie-in, because I like animals and I'm a furry.
So the question I was kind of segueing into is like, is there a certain amount of weight that you would recommend not like exceeding? Like,
Oh yeah.
Like you're
But I'm
like,
not
I
sure
weigh
how,
and it's.
you gotta figure it out as you do
How
it.
much you can tolerate?
Well, no, it's
Well, no,
like there has
because
to
the
be.
foam, it was made out of this foam, not to cut you off,
No.
it was made out of this foam, and I couldn't use those resin eyes because they were too heavy. So I got eyes from Casplay for like the puppetry eyes, and then I put them in, and they're much lighter. I actually have a pair on of the suits that you can rip the face off of that will be at the artist alley eventually.
You know, he's got a really good basis, but he's kind of affected right now by some roller event. Max basis, have you seen them?
Yeah, he's got some good work. I don't know how to pay him because he doesn't do PayPal because he's from Russia.
I thought he was in Poland. I thought he was in Ukraine.
Well, again, I don't know how to pay him because
what's
he's
the
in
fact he's
Ukraine
been-
and Russia is invading Ukraine right now, and
I know he's in hiding right now because of.
he's in hiding. Yeah, because the Russians are.
Have you seen Six's covers? Alex Straza Dragon.
No, I don't really know a lot of furry artists. This is like one that I know pretty well, and then I have a few.
Six's Victor he does this really cute like dragon, they draw really good metallic dragons. Like
Draw?
The indie guy?
But they ventured into doing like they did an Alex Straza cosplay, which is the red dragon from World of Warcraft.
Okay, I don't even play that. I have like a 12-year-old computer. I'm waiting for it to die. It's a laptop. It's still going. It has no battery. I love your beard. Right? I like how it's like different colors.
So the question I have is like, is there a certain weight that you like you as you're you're a builder, like that you're like, man, this is too heavy, I need to lighten it, like at 5 pounds or something, like you're like, I gotta lighten it.
5 pounds on the head is entirely too much weight.
Okay, so is there like a cutoff that you put for yourself, or?
Well, if you make it out of foam, it shouldn't be that heavy anyways, depending on how much hair you put on, or if you decide to put magnets into it.
Is there a way that you can build something that holds it off the weight, like goes to your
Well,
shoulders?
the
and stuff?
harnesses that they have for the resin and 3D print are really secure. If you get them from Twin Blue Chimera, it's a 5-point harness. So it's actually really secure depending on how secure your hinges are on. Because some people just use hot glue.
Run this one like the 5 buckles.
It's the one with 5 buckles. I have one with 3. It's not as secure, but it's whatever. I decided to use it for the Raptors and whatever.
If this head wasn't built, like on the other dragon I'm trying to build, I'm going to use that sucker.
Yeah, you just gotta find. I think it's 5/16 of a drill bit.
Grant, I can record this drill, so I can.
Okay, it's the 5/16 for the Chicago Post screw. I'm gonna be real honest. Don't use the Chicago Post screw in a hinge because that's a lot of friction, and the Chicago Post screw will unscrew itself. Even if you use Loctite
Even if
glue.
you use red Loctite.
I don't know where you can get red Loctite, so I'm not using it. Chances are that I get it all over myself because that's what happens with Loctite glue.
So is it more of a rivet style?
It's a female and a male part that fits together. So
Yeah.
maybe like a rivet. I'm used to rivets where they just stamp it in. And
Yeah,
that's it.
I didn't know if like you fit it together and then hammer it.
No,
to
you fit it in and you screw it
screw it
together.
together. Okay,
So
so
just
it's
use
not a
the
rivet.
screws for a hinge with like a locking washer bolt, and you're good. And if you need this stuff, I just recommend getting it from DVC. You can just pay a little bit extra because chances are you'll go to Home Depot and buy 5 different types and it won't fit or whatever. There's the kimono style head. Ish with the huge eyes.
Little eyes. This is the suits, however, it's like 4 or 5 years old. So
This is an old suit with Lux Shag.
yeah, as you can
This is
see.
what will happen with Lux Shag. And it's not because bullfire's dirty, that's just the fur. I know a lot of people will come up to people and tell them to brush their fursuit. But if it's Lux Shag, it doesn't matter because 5 seconds later, it's gonna look like that.
Well, why would you? I feel like that would be an active, like brushing your fursuit. Yeah, it'd probably like short term make it look nicer, but like wouldn't that slowly tear out the hair?
It's almost like
Yeah,
brush it, take
I
the
mean,
photo,
yes,
okay,
but
brush
like,
again.
she's 5 years old, doesn't look like she's torn out any hair yet. I
So-
mean, you gotta be careful with the brush, you can't just.
It's
go
also
in
brushing
on it.
direction. You're not supposed to brush your fur with the blades. You're actually supposed to brush against the blades when you're brushing your suit.
So not the hand motion you just did, the
Yeah,
opposite. of what
not
you
this
just
one, this one, because you're actually when you're physically brushing it.
Or
yes,
just get
you're
a
gonna-
normal brush.
Flip it
That's
upside
or a
down.
comb. Combs are actually
did.
really
Sorry,
good as
well, define blade for me, because I thought you were just misspeaking about the fur.
Do you have a brush with you? No, I did not bring the brush because none of my suits really
Are you,
need brushes.
you talking about the brushes that like
Not the
little
wicker
metal
brush.
pins and they
One
go
used
bend?
for like
Yeah.
brushing a cat or a dog
Yeah.
to get their fur.
So they like
off,
bend
with,
like this.
Metal claw like this.
Yeah.
Has a pointed end. Don't brush with the end pointed. You go against it, or use
Okay.
a comb. A comb is a good way.
So
to
use the
Slicker
Like
the
brush.
fur comb backwards.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright.
Or just a normal brush.
If I'm going this way, then it's going this way.
This
Yeah.
short hair probably doesn't have a
Alright.
brush.
And then that also is a good way of preventing long-term damage because you are, if you're brushing with the clay or with the prongs, it's gonna definitely pull out hair over time.
And this is fleece. As the person
Yeah.
who asked the question about using fleece for the hand paws here still, because this is why you wouldn't use fleece for hand paws.
Yeah,
Just
over
because of
time, it
the
goes.
high use area with fleece will kill. And you can brush it out, but it does that consistently. Because it doesn't like.
That one doesn't have the normal where they put the glass domes or the plastic domes over the eyes.
So that is also dependent.
How does it
You have to
fall?
have really good ventilation with kimono style to do that.
Doesn't.
Yeah, no, this one has great ventilation. I can breathe really well in this.
You
but
breathe out of this eye and then you grow out.
I breathe out of both eyes. But when it comes to kimono, a lot of the breathability, it comes from the eyes. Unless you have vent holes that you slightly drill at the bottom of it to let all that, like, the hot air expel, you tend to get really bad fogging, which can over time build mildew or any kind of mold on it, which isn't good for the suit. That's why a lot of people tend to take those off, or they have a lot better ventilation throughout the suit somewhere else.
And you can wear your glasses in a fursuit, just get a fan that blows in, not out. I don't know anybody, there's like nobody in here that has that person back there.
And on that
Mercer
note,
just left.
if you get anti-fall spray, kind of like the stuff that you use for
Scuba diving, that doesn't work.
It really, I've had.
I'm a scuba diver, it never works. I'm always just like, I can't see stuff, I'm underwater.
I got the anti-fall spray.
People take pictures of me and I'm like oriented funny underwater because I can't see anything. It's great. You're like, there's Ree again, what are they doing?
Isn't there like an anti-fog called cat crab?
No, but I do know the best anti-fog is spit, apparently.
Yeah.
So,
Heard that.
I've heard that too.
take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, so baklava to prevent any moisture buildup, that's pretty important. It doesn't need to be lined. You don't have a head base to put this on. For the glue, it's not good to put the glue on and then put the baklava on and then do this to yourself. Please don't do that.
So to avoid moisture buildup, what was it again?
Ventilation holes or.
And a head sock. See this guy
Head sock.
over here? Look at his beautiful fashionable head sock. You're gonna want at
I
least.
use this in the freezer for work.
You're gonna want at least how many days of con there is, one for each day.
No,
Because you
ventilation-
can't
Or
wash
bring two and wash them.
You can't wash them in the sink, that's a lie. I've seen people do that.
We have washers in the hallways, like the.
Yeah, you're
the
gonna
laundry
run
rooms.
one load for a sock on your head. Sink wash. When people do, they wash it in the sink.
That's
and
like
it
people.
smells
That's like
just
people who
as
take
bad.
those quite.
What soap did you use? And they're like, I used hand soap. And
No, free and clear.
I'm screaming inside my head here.
I
okay,
like I
you've
wash
never
my
done
I wash
that.
my arm sleeves and my paws before going to the con in free and clear.
I washed Tide once.
That way it's sensitive on it's for sensitive skin anyway, so that way it's safe to.
Yeah, Woolite's good for washing your fursuit. That's what I use for my fursuit, and I put it inside the washing machine because I don't like washing
Woolites,
stuff.
did I hear that right?
Woolite, yeah.
I use
Like
I use the
wool.
bathtub and with
Yeah,
the plastic
the
tub
wool.
method.
And light
And
is
shake
like,
and shake.
L-I-T-E.
It's on the,
Okay.
it's in the laundry aisle, like in a small bottle.
It's like the baby kind, the soft, gentle.
I've been told that the ones with agitators, the tops, are probably not good because you'll get the suit like pull and then the agitator will pull at it.
So you're talking about like front load instead of top load?
Front loads are better. However, you can just put it in the bathtub and wash it around.
That's what I do.
And then like take 50 pounds of wet couch out to the line and be like, how do I hang this without stretching out everything? I just put it on the floor. I put down beach towels and I put it on the floor and be like, floor to sun, do your thing. And then it does its thing. And then I go out there with a brush and I brush it out some. But the button's pretty badly for heat damage. And it's because I sat and partied too much in my first year.
Question, how do you repair if you go too far shaving?
You don't really. There is one.
Grant, I didn't do this.
There
one.
is
the maker of the
one-
gloves did. One of them.
There is one way to do it. It's like with a needle and you poke it back in. It's like
I think
felting.
Mugiwara has one.
It's
Pretty much like felting.
it's-
Mugiwara cosplay?
I was a cosplayer, but I got glomped one year, and I really...
No, Moogie War, I think, has like a tutorial about
I
it.
don't know. Anyways, I was a cosplayer, I got glomped, and I had a really bad experience, and I don't cosplay. That's the story there. I got glomped from behind, so I went right into the ground, broke my costume. I was not a happy one. I was really upset. And the other person said, no, there was no sorry about it. They thought I was somebody else, is the best part. Anime, it was a mistake.
I was just at Metricon like 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah, I heard it was great. It's out in Tampa, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's so many other things to do in Tampa.
I did 2 days at Megacon.
Yeah, I can attest, like, I live in Tampa, I go to USF, but there's tons of, like, it's...
How did I go to USF?
Probably because I'm introverted and I hide in corners.
You might see Kim there. Did you get your badge?
Thank
Who
you.
got their reg badge?
Elder
I
version?
have mine.
Sure. I mean, no, I'm not even on Telegram. I have on Discord though.
I put it on.
There's like a
Well,
little, there's also.
Telegram we usually on. I'm admin for it, so.
I still need to get the panels.
Okay, well, I don't have Telegram.
I have the What time is it?
I've tried using Telegram.
Okay, so this panel is like wrapping up.
Would I be able to look, just hold it so I can see?
Oh, yeah,
Is
just
it
come
foam
on.
inside there or?
This one? That one's
Yes.
So this one is fully foam. When I made this is a good example of you wanna you don't have to line, but make sure you're cleaning consistently. The foam that I had sat in my garage for a while, so it oxidized so much.
Yeah,
I've been there for
Oxidizes, it
years.
starts to turn really
I've
yellow.
been doing,
So
you
between
know,
that, the suit gets cleaned. I have
$20,000
photos of the
a
suit
year
literally
to
being completely drenched in a bathtub.
Yeah.
It's just still
She
an
has that
brown.
song.
I drowned the
I used
suit
to live in a
consistently.
New Park
We'll
Park,
fire
so
dye.
it's formed out, so
So
it's
is there a
Wow.
way to protect it after you, like, it starts to oxidize, maybe something to seize the
Well,
oxidation
you know, your
process?
sweat has like components
It's salt
in it,
and crap,
and
yeah.
like
Yeah.
salt's really good at cooking
Okay.
stuff, right? But like you can line it, but like the problem with lining it is people.
Covers it.
I have a client that I got legs for that were lined, and she decided that was fine. She didn't need to wear any Under Armour, so she wore like shorts, and the lining's falling out, and there's like little bits, I guess, mold in there. And she's complaining now, but it's like, I told you to wear the Under Armour, but you decided because it was lined, you didn't need to, and that's a general consensus with a lot of furries. It's like that weird thing where people were talking about how they used swimming in the pool to wash themselves, and they didn't need to use soap or something that happened a few years ago. I don't know. Does anybody remember that?
That hurt.
It sounds like it would bleach the fur like crazy.
Well, no, they were
Chlorine,
They
yeah.
weren't bathing their suit in the pool. They were saying, I use swimming in the pool as a way to shower. It was like a hole for America.
Oh.
And I was just like, I feel like I'm living in the twilight zone.
Why do you think there's showers? Why do they tell you shower before you go in the pool?
That's usually for the sunscreen because it messes up the pH. It's time for me to go to egg.
I will be following you.
Egg.
Egg.
I have
Sounds
nothing to say
exciting.
to that. I hope everybody has gotten all the answers that they need.
Thank you.
Remember, you can just Google a lot of this.
That's what it was.
There's a lot of databases out there. Sometimes you do have to pay. It's a pay to get through all Patreons and stuff. Did you have a question? You were like,
Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Hopefully I'll see you during the con. Does anybody want to?
Now it's time for me to take over the panel and give
Do I get a
professional
question for
opinion.
No, if you attend the egg panel,